Welcome back to Man Across New Horizons. I'm Dear Darling. As you see what's going on a lovely island of Fawnhollow today, on a day which is considerably cooler than the absolutely monstrous 38 and 39ish degrees I had yesterday here in the UK. So, you know, it's like, I like to think my mind's clear and all that sort of thing, but perhaps it's not. It's still kind of hot. Let's see how hot it is. Maybe it's not actually that hot. So I woke up this morning, I checked the weather. You know, I don't normally check weather app. It's the first thing I check, and I was like, oh, 22 degrees. That's not too bad. 24 degrees right now. Apparently there's going to be another thunderstorm later today. Apparently in about 1 hour, which is surprising. I mean, it's quite overcast, but it doesn't look really very thundery, so I'm not really sure how that's happening. So let me have a sip of water. But anyway, hello everyone. Right now in Fawnhallow, it's 3:14 PM on Wednesday, July 20th, 2022. I don't know, I'm trying to think of times I've, like, you know, been in a thunderstorm. Have I told this story before about, like, I think it was in reception, which is basically, it's sort of like kindergarten. Actually, it might be the same age as kindergarten in America, but it's basically sort of like preschool of some sorts. When, like, one time during, like, classroom time, it was incredibly stormy. There was actually a full-on thunderstorm about lightning. It had lightning, thunder, really, like, heavy torrential rain and that sort of thing. And I remember our teacher telling us that what the best thing to do in a thunderstorm is, and it's something I can't remember what she said, but she said to, like, go hide under a tree, as if we, like, if you couldn't come inside or something, which is a little bit strange, and I would have thought, because, you know, like, we didn't have that big a playground back in reception. It was pretty small. Like, even if you're at the furthest part of the playground, you'd probably be at max like 100 meters away or something from the actual classroom. Well, not even that much. Probably more like 20 meters now I think about it. Definitely not 100 meters. 100 meters is huge now I think about it. Where does Woody live? Woody lives in bottom left. Let's go see if we can deliver this to Audie. If we can't, then that's going to be a little bit annoying. Hello, hop over this. Yeah, but I don't know. I'm not actually sure if that's particularly good advice to actually to go underneath a tree or something during a thunderstorm. But presumably, well, I think the main problem you have with like rainstorms and that sort of thing is you're meant to not stay out and be rained on for too long. Particularly if it's kind of like coldish weather, you know, you have a risk of getting like hypothermia, catching a cold, etc., etc. Being quite sickly or poorly or whatever, and you know, it's just quite annoying getting, you know, it's like super wet clothes or whatever. Tropical maybe. Sure. That sounds like something I'd see you, Audie. Is that exactly the same thing you're wearing, just in a different colour? Oh, I didn't actually realise that was what you were wearing, but alright then. I mean, actually now I think about it, that's exactly the same dress that Lily wears, isn't it? Because Lily wears it in the white colour, doesn't she? Anyway, yeah, I feel like that's the biggest problem when it comes to thunderstorms. And then you might be like, what about lightning / thunder? Well, you know, distinction being lightning's the actual like electrical light strike, and thunder being the sound which roars afterwards. I mean, I guess so. Like lightning and thunders can be particularly dangerous, but you know, getting struck by lightning is quite a rare thing in the first place. Oh, we're like harmonising over that. It's adorable. I mean, lightning is the sort of thing which, you know, it strikes up the highest. Not always the highest thing from the ground, I suppose, necessarily, but it does try to. Just by the way that lightning works or something, it like reaches. No, hold on. It's like, obviously, because lightning tries to find the shortest path possible, so it like, how lightning works, it like sends out a load of those like, the lightning path you see, like the load of branching paths, as it trying to like finds to reach something, and when it reaches something, it completes a circuit, so when it like zaps it, kind of. That's a bit of a misleading way to describe it. From I think it's not like literally something reading out. It's just like, you know, a strong electrical charge, I suppose, going out in a direction, and it's just more likely to hit the first thing I suppose it touches. I forgot what I was going to say about this. What was I going to say about this? Yeah, so I don't think being under a tree is a very good idea, because, you know, a tree is probably like one of the tallest things around, at least, you know, here in England. It was like a big old oak tree or something that was in our a playground garden-esque area. What things do we have in our inventory? In our playground garden-esque area, so, you know, that's probably like one of the most likely things to be struck. You probably don't want to be sitting underneath the tree when it's like the most likely thing to be struck in the general vicinity. Not that like it'll necessarily conduct the circuit or like its charge through you, just by you being there in its presence, but more of a fact that, you know, obviously the tree's not going to exactly hold up particularly well to a lightning strike, so it might like splinter or char burn, you know, things could fall on you, etc., etc., and maybe, you know, a bit of charge does go through you, in which case you probably want to stay away from that whenever you can. I just had another, you know, flashback about lightning. Oh man, This is what, it doesn't make me cringe, but it used to make me cringe when I was younger. But obviously now I look back at it and be like, I was like 6, who cares? This was in year 4, you know, and back with that teacher I talked about before, you know, who was, you know, a very passionate teacher, shall we say. And we were writing an English poem, and it was meant to be a collaborative thing with our entire class, and we were each meant to write one line, quote, and we were working in pairs. I remember I was working with this girl next to me. She was a very shy girl, I think, back at that time, so she was very quiet, so she didn't really like talk all that much. So I remember I was just like trying to talk or whatever, and then the teacher was like, the theme is fast things, so we all had to write like one line. So it'd be like 59 long poem about fast things or something like that. And, you know, we were in like 6 different tables or something. We were like 5 different tables of 6 students each, because the class size is about 30 or that sort of thing. And I remember trying to talk to my partner and she not saying literally anything. She just like nodding or shaking her head at any or whatever I said. Or like not even responding, which to be fair, she was probably quite shy. Fair enough. I'm not going to criticize like a 9-year-old even for, you know, being a bit shy to talk to people. Fair enough. But I remember just like trying to say things, but literally the only thing which I could think of that was fast was lightning, because I was like, if you want fast things, my brain was like, well, there's only one thing that's like super fast, and it's like, you know, the speed of light and lightning and all that sort of thing. So that was literally the only thing that would make sense. So I said, why don't we do something about fast as, because they all followed a pattern, because we were, I can't remember what poet we were studying or something at the time, but they were like, it might have been like, the poem we were basing it off was like slow things, and they all have a pattern of slow is a snail which crosses the road or something like that. So they were all of that form. So I was like, why don't we do like fast is a lightning which strikes the ground or something, you know? And I was like, that's pretty good. And I was like, all right, I guess we're done. And then, you know, a few minutes later, the teacher's like, all right, everyone, let's like submit our lines. And the first table, but annoyingly, we weren't first table, we were second table, but to get called on, she called on me at the first table with the first pair, and they were just like, fast is the lightning which strikes a tree, and we were like, oh no. Well, I was like, oh no, that was what literally our thing was. So then, as luck would have it, before I could think of another line, immediately the teacher asked us, our pair, what was next, and I was like, literally the only thing we have is fast is the lightning that strikes the ground. And then she just looked at me like I was stupid or something. And I was like, and then I thought, you know, looking back on it, she probably thought we copied the pair in front of us, which obviously does not make any sense. Why would we copy them and then change it up by that little? I mean, maybe some kids would or that sort of thing, but she knows me. I wouldn't do that, hopefully. I wouldn't do that, you know. I just thought lightning, and, you know, I had about 10 seconds to try and come up with something else, and I didn't come up with anything else. So she thought I was stupid, so, you know, I was trying to explain, like, why lightning was fast or something. And then I remember, you know, it like, stabbed me in the heart. You know, as someone who's, as a kid who was very sort of like achievement orientated back then, I suppose. And she was like, I expected better from you. And I was like, what? That's so mean. Looking back on it, obviously, you know, if I was a kid, I'd be like, you know, if I was a 25-year-old in that like 9-year-old body, like I'm now. Wait, that's not true. Hold on. If I cast my 25-year-old mind back to that 9-year-old mind, I'd be like, hold on, can you come back to us because we use lightning. We were going to say lightning as well, and it probably isn't a good idea to use the same thing line in the poem twice. And then she'd be like, oh, okay, and she'll probably move on to the next pair, or she'd think I'm lying, you know, which would just be outrageous. It's most of the things I have. The bad memories I tend to have with teachers is the lack of trust they have, because I'm not going to lie, I tend to be a reasonably honest person, I like to think, but I was a very, very honest child and, you know, very diligent by the book sort of child in the first place. I wouldn't do things out of line. You know, a teacher says, do this work, I'll do the work, I'll do it as they expect to do the work as well, that sort of thing. I wasn't like exactly like I sucked up to a teacher, I would say. I would just be like, there's work to do, I'll do it like this because that's what's expected, and then, you know, that's it. All my bad memories from teachers, like, you know, assuming I was doing something to like weasel my way out of a work, or trying to do something like to get out of something or whatever have you, when literally every single time it's happened. It's just been, you know, something went wrong, or like I didn't do the work as well as I thought I would, or I misunderstood or something. That's literally all my bad experiences with teachers are always centered around that they assumed I was trying to do something like to be fair, a lot of kids would be like, oh, you know, dog ate my homework sort of thing, when every single time it was just more like a situation come up which I did not expect. And then, you know, breaking a kid's trust, you know, it's a pretty sad thing to do. But anyway, sorry, I'm just here venting out my 9-year-old frustrations for really no apparent reason. So, you know, that stuck in my mind, because that was something I was just like, man, I feel like such a failure after that. And despite the fact it was just one line from a poem, just describing lightning being fast, it made me so sad. You don't even know, like, you might be like, oh man, Like, why would you even care about that? Yeah, I don't know. I was very achievement orientated. I want to do good. I want to, you know, like, make people think I was good, I suppose. Not even in the sense like that, but like, I wanted to... I guess I just wanted to do well and that sort of thing. Felt like such a disappointment to myself, my family. I let everyone down. Like, to be fair, I think I have a lot of stories from that when I was younger. I remember, I don't know why I'm talking about this. Like, I suppose it's a good way to sort of talk about me overcoming sort of like fear of failure, I suppose, in a certain sense. But I don't really know where it's rooted from. But, you know, apparently I'm using these Animal Crossing episodes as sort of like a psychology, not psychology, a therapy session, which, you know, I would strongly suggest if you're someone who needs or wants therapy, you would, you know, actually do go get therapy or seek out therapy or any sort of help of that sort, rather than, you know, just sort of, well, it's good to have an outlet and everything, you know, like these Animal Crossing videos, no, kind of, in some weird way. I'm not really sure if I have much of an outlet, but, you know, basically, mental health is important, and do not squander it and do not neglect it. I was so young, actually, when this memory took place, and I don't know why I remember, but I think I was like 3 or 4 years old or something. Basically, me and my sister, we played a lot of games on the Game Boy, and at the time I really liked this cartoon, or well, I suppose anime, called Hamtaro, which is about these sort of like animated hamsters, and we do all sorts of wacky hijinks and whatnot. And I played basically all of the Hamtaro games. Actually, that's not true. There's one I didn't play the first Hamtaro game or whatever, or the second one, Ham's Unite or something. I didn't play that one, but I played all the others. And I played them through multiple times and completed them multiple times. But one of them, the last in the series, like the fourth in the series on the Game Boy, was the Ham Olympics, which is basically Olympic Games, but with the Hamtaro characters and that sort of thing. I still have so many good memories of it. I wonder how well I'd do it if I tried to play it now. But I played that game, and I remember it was the first time we were playing through the campaign, where basically you control each of the characters, and they all participate in different events or whatever have you. And like as different events go through things, the whole campaign, you get to talk to the characters, etc. So which is actually, you know, quite fun from what I recall. I don't actually know how good it is as a game in retrospect, but there is one event in the game called equestrian, like horse riding, essentially, which at the time I didn't really know what horse riding was. I just know you rode a horse, but I didn't understand the rules about, like, you know, penalties, you had to jump through fences, that sort of thing, and you had to follow a course or whatnot, or what have you. But I remember I even remember who the character who participates in it is Penelope, who was at my time my favourite character. Which is strange. She's just a hamster which wears like a yellow cloak. She's basically a big old baby from what I recall. She just wears like a yellow cloak over her head, and the only noise she ever makes goes "ooh-quee." I don't think she says any other words. And she's best friends with Pashmina, who is I don't know. She's meant to be like a fashionable one, kind of, because she has a very fashionable scarf. But I just remember she's like kind of nice. But that's all I remember her defining sort of character traits. Anyway, I remember we got to that part of the campaign because like me and my sister sort of like alternated or whatever. We, you know, sometimes we played, sometimes we didn't watch. It might have been my game, so maybe I was playing and my sister was watching or something. I don't really recall, but I remember like while my sister was doing something, I was playing like by myself or something, and I was doing the equestrian race, the equestrian event. I think at the time I was like, most of the mini games you could either practice it before you do the real thing. I decided not to practice it, or I did practice it and it went fine. So, and when I did the real thing, I was like, it'll be absolutely fine. I mean, I did the real thing, and then I just did so horribly on it. I just like completely panicked throughout the entire thing because I like missed the first jump and I got a penalty, and I just kept racking up the penalties, and when I got and it really stressed me out for some reason as a 3-year-old. But I was, I guess, failing at this one mini game. And I came in dead last, I remember, in only like 4 teams, with like a ridiculously high score. Like it was like a plus 40 penalty or something. I can't remember off the top of my head. Because the penalties like increase the time it takes, the time taken to do things. You're meant to do things shortest time possible or something. And anyway, I had like a time of like 40 minutes or something, and despite the fact it was meant to take like 1 minute. I remember I was so sad at the time. For that rest of that evening or something, I was like inconsolably like crying. My parents were just like, "What's wrong, dear? What's wrong?" And I just wouldn't tell them because I don't know, I was so ashamed of failing that equestrian event in Ham Olympics or something. So much of it I was crying, and I was still crying. Like I was having a bath later that day, and my parents were just like, "What is going on with our child? She's unconsolably crying, and she's having a bath. She still won't cry. She won't stop crying." And then like I remember I had to get my sister in while I was having a bath, I think, just like in my bathroom, so I could like apologize or actually say what was happening. When my sister was like, "Oh yeah, that's fine." Who cares? But I don't know. It's a very funny story looking back. Like, obviously, to me, you know, I'm like a 3-year-old or something. The entire world meant to me I was like not failing that one equestrian riding minigame. So at the time that like I failed it so badly, it was just like the worst thing that literally ever happened to me. I didn't know what to do apart from just cry, I suppose, non-stop. Apologies for that little bit of a pause there, but oh, Lily, you're ill. Let's go get you some medicine. What was I talking about? I honestly can't remember. Can't recall what I was talking about. Oh, fear of failure, that sort of thing. What was I talking about? I was talking about. Okay, yeah, that was it. I was talking about time. Oh, you can always guess what I'm talking about. I'm always talking about time, like memories I have from my childhood or whatever. Really for no apparent reason. You know, it's just surprising how many people, not how many people, but, you know, the general consensus I get from, you know, talking to people is that you really don't remember, too many things from their childhood. So, you know, I guess here I am showing my own childhood stories because I have, for some unfathomable reason, a ridiculous amount of memories that I still remember. So I told ones about Ham games. Well, I got incredibly invested. I might like to clarify, it wasn't a horseback riding. You rode a different creature. It was like a rabbit or something. No, I think it was a bird. Yeah, that sounds more right. Because I don't know. Which is even more confusing, because in the rainbow one or whatever, the birds were your enemies and they tried to attack you at one point, but then you befriended one of them or something, didn't you? I don't remember. Anyway, those Hamtaro games, at least in my memory, they were sick, is what I'll say. I can't remember what I was going to say. I'm trying to think of other times where I feel like I've super failed something when I was young. I don't know, I guess it's kind of like sort of cathartic to talk about this. For things, certainly in my teenage years, I was like, I'll never talk about them. No, never should I show any of my failures. No, you know, failure is a very natural part of human life. What are you? Like, you're not, no one's a walking beacon of perfection. That doesn't make any sense. And, you know, it's quite deceptive, I suppose, to yourself to even, you know, one, portray yourself as that way and even to try and aim for it. You know, embrace your failures because they teach you things, and you know it's more about how you pick yourself up from the failures, not necessarily than the failures themselves, which serve to define you, I would say. I'm trying to think of more times. It's not really a failure thing, but well, it's kind of a failure thing. This is for like year 6 leaving play. It was actually quite customary for instead of just having the Christmas plays on around Christmas times, like a nativity, which by the way, for Key Stage 1, which is years like reception. I don't know if nursery was involved or not. Up to year 2, so you know, I'd say like 7 years old and younger. It was always the nativity thing, you know, or some variation of a nativity. But you know, the biggest roles are always given to, you know, the older years, except for in Key Stage 2, which is from like years 3, 4, 5, 6. So that'd be like 8 years old to 11, no, 7 years old to 11, depending on when you were born in the academic year. Whereas the main needs were given to year 5s, because year 6s are meant to be busy with exams, aka doing SATs, which, you know, and, well, I mean, fair enough, I suppose, but you know, it's also we're doing it at winter. It's not like, I feel like that's not really the key moment, I think, during year 6 life. But anyway, I remember that I basically played this like evil villain in year 5. Like we all auditioned for part. Oh no, maybe this was year 6. Oh, I'm thinking of year 6. I don't remember what happened in year 5, because we had to audition for like parts, which is, you know, kind of weird, because, you know, most of us had basically never even tried to audition for anything before, because, you know, most of us weren't drama people or anything, so I don't really know what an audition was. Oh, we don't have any customization kits. Let's go buy some customization kits. I can't remember what happened in year 5, but year 5 I ended up playing like one of the evil villains, which was, you know, quite funny, I think, in retrospect, but I kind of really hated it for some reason. I guess I didn't like playing a villain. Now, you know, obviously I'd play any part in like a theatre role or whatever, and as long as it, you know, wasn't like incredibly offensive or something, I suppose, or like contrary to my moral standings, but still, I think you should revel in playing with a villain for a little bit, you know. It's just a bit of fun. I think is probably the main way to put it. I forgot we were also getting customization kits. Anyway, yeah, I just remember I really hated playing the villain, because I was just like, you know, I hate being like evil. I hate, you know, doing this. I feel like this is a joke role. I don't know why, you know. I guess it's, you know, again, aligning myself with someone who wants to be good or be virtuous in the sense that I'm playing. And evil was like counted to that when I was younger. I don't really know. Anyway, eventually I got settled in a bit, and you know, I ended up having quite a lot of fun with it in the first place. It was also very strange though. I almost still remember my lines. hold on. No, I don't remember them entirely, but it's just like, 8 5 dinners, want another, and then the entire audience is meant to go boo. Which at the time was obviously absolutely mortifying for me. But now I'd be like, yeah, boo me, yeah. Why are you booing me? I'm right. It's all good fun. We should probably buy more customization kits. Let's get like a whole stack going or something, so we don't have to do this again at some point. I remember I meant to like laugh as I leave the stage. I meant to go Mwahahaha, and I like pull the curtains at the side of the stage in a really dramatic fashion. And I remember on one of the nights I actually pulled it like so hard that like it actually revealed like the main actress who was like in the wings standing backstage. Only to a small part of the audience, not to all the audience. But she told me afterwards. I was like, that is hilarious. But anyway, for year 6 play, we did, I don't know how to describe it, because it's all like, the year 6 ones are always basically like old school fairy tales, but like dramatic retellings of them to make them more interesting, I suppose, for, you know, modern day kids or whatever. And we did Snow White, I think. What did we do in year 5? Why was I an evil villain? I don't remember what the story was. It was something, I remember, it was a mashup of fairy tales, actually, now I think about the year 5 one. Because I remember the main lead, she, like, they sang the song Something Stupid, because she was, like, theoretically, like, kissing frogs or whatever. Like, didn't actually give them kisses or whatever. Frogs, toads, and newts to, like, find a Prince Charming or whatever. She got, like, pricked by a needle. So, I guess Sleeping Beauty? No, I think it was just a mashup of loads of different fairy tales. Anyway, our year 6 one was Snow White, from what I recall. I don't really remember much else about it, except for I remember we had to audition, so I auditioned, and then it was like, oh, you had to sing a song, and you had, weirdly, because, I think it was in our year 5 audition, we all sang Twinkle Twinkle Little Star to make it impartial, and in our year 6 one, we had to sing a song from a play, which was weird, because I don't remember ever being taught any of the songs from a play yet, so I don't know how on earth I'd sing them, so I just randomly picked a song from a play. And I remember I sort of just like mushed my way through it because I didn't know any of the lyrics to the song. I remember how it goes. It was like the royal board or something, like when all the king like welcomes in all these royal dignitaries from other lands and or princesses or something, and maybe he was trying to find someone to marry. I think that sounds right. I think he was trying to find someone to marry. Like his next queen, or like trying to find a wife. I remember it was like a sort of like not a polka song. It goes like bum 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 bum. What kind of song is that called? I don't know. It's very pantomime-y. Maybe that's a better word for it. It was the pantomime tellings of fairy tales. And I remember the start of the song goes, there are big ones, there are little ones, and some in between. I don't remember the rest of it. Anyway, I sang that, like attempted to sing that, despite the fact I didn't know any of the lyrics, so I sort of just like mumbled it. And I remember I didn't get the part I wanted. And part of the reason, you know, looking back on it, was because I didn't sing anything basically for my song, because I remember I just walked up being like, I don't know what the song is, so I don't know why I'm singing it. Oh, you know, I think it was a year 6 thing where we sang Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, because I was like one of the first to you know, do the audition, because I was like, I don't really care if I go first. Like, you know, a lot of people are just like, oh no, I can't go first, and it's so scary. I'm like, oh, whatever. And then they were just like, let's all sing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star afterwards. I should have gone up and been like, you know, I'll sing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star again. Redo my audition and all that. Oh well. A little bit too late for that, I suppose. But no, I remember I played the king. And I remember I wanted... No, did I play a king? Wait, hold on. I feel like at one point I wanted to swap my part with someone else in the play. Like, another one of my friends. Like, he... Oh, maybe that was... I think I'm getting always confused. I think that was in year 5 when I was going to play the villain. I so didn't want to play the villain. I wanted to swap my part with someone else who was playing, like, the king in the play. I think that was year 5. I don't remember what I played on. I remember I played the king in year 6, but... Oh, I remember why. Because I wanted to be the magic mirror. The mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all? I remember I kind of auditioned for that part or something. I think I auditioned for everything. I don't really remember. It was also quite a typical thing for some reason. You know, it's a very common thing for like drag to appear in pantomimes, at least in the UK. So there'll be like guys playing like the evil queen or something, and then sometimes girls will play with guys' parts or whatever. And I don't know, it's all a bit of fun. Who really cares? So I remember it's a very typical thing for like in the year 6 plays for one of the guys to play the girls' parts. I remember I wanted to do that at the time. I was like, oh, I want to play the evil queen, but there's no way I could do that. I don't know why I was so self-conscious about it. If, you know, turn back time, yeah, I'll play the evil queen, why not? It sounds quite funny. But I think I probably would have been better as a magic mirror, I'm not gonna lie. It's a very sort of me sort of role. I don't know what I mean by that, to be perfectly honest. Anyway, I didn't get my part, I remember, and I played the king, and I don't remember what else happened. I just remember I had the smallest part. I think that was why I was more annoyed about it, because in year 5 I was like, oh, it's really fun being a main character, even if I was a villain, you know, it's something I had fun with. So I was like, let's try and be a main character this time, and I was just like some random side character who basically did nothing for the entire play. Like, I had my opening part of the welcoming ball, trying to find like a wife or something, and then, you know, I sang kind of the song, and then, you know, I like sat backstage for the rest of the play, and then I came back in at one other point where like Snow White tried to sneak into the castle to she stole the mirror off a wall, that was it. And I was meant to be in the part of the house counting money or something, and then I remember the teachers being like, oh, it'd be really funny if you were using a calculator, because at that time I was very known for being like, you know, the smart one, I suppose. They'd be like, oh, it's really funny if, you know, she has to use a calculator or something to, you know, do the maths or something. I don't know why I'm remembering all of this. Is like this literally makes no sense to any of you, because I've stripped away all the context of it. But there you go. I don't know, fear of failure. Face your fear of failure. That sort of thing, you know. Failure is part of life. It's about how you recover it from, you know, as I said before, it's about your recovery from failure, which defines you rather than failure itself. So, you know, don't ruin your future because of your past mistakes and that sort of thing. I guess, you know, somehow I turned it back into life lessons again, despite the fact I started talking about thunder and lightning. Anyway, I'm going to round off this episode here because, you know, my throat's getting kind of dry and I want to get some water. So if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Any likes, comments, subscription, shares are greatly appreciated. Join me Dear Darling Discord, follow me on Twitter down below. Hope we see each other again. But for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye-bye for now.